Welcome to the Learning and Working During the Transition to Adulthood Rehabilitation, Research, and Training Center State of the Science Experts Meeting. This conference is sponsored by Georgetown University's National Technical Assistance Center and the Annie E. Casey Foundation. Our funders include the National Institute on Disability and Rehabilitation Research, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, and the University of Massachusetts Medical School, without whom the work we do would not be possible. This video montage profiles the mission and activities of the Transitions Research and Training Center. Brought to you by the Young Adult Project Assistance for the RTC, the video provides an engaging overview of the challenges faced by young adults with psychiatric disabilities and the critical issues surrounding their movement into adult roles as student and worker. The efforts of the Transitions RTC concerns young adults with mental health conditions who face daily struggles on their path to recovery. This includes the successful completion of education and employment. The Transitions RTC is a national effort to improve the supports for the successful completion of schooling, training, and movement into rewarding work lives in young adults, ages 14 to 30, with serious mental health conditions. The RTC addresses this mission by conducting cutting-edge, rigorous research that tests or informs interventions which support education, training, and working during the transition to adulthood. Various research studies inform and impact policy, practice, and individual behavior. Research in the area of education include projects such as identifying high school interventions associated with high school completion and examining the needs and outcomes of young adults in supported education programs. Employment research includes projects such as looking at work and educational supports for young adults after justice system involvement, and culturally informed employment programs for Latino young adults. Policy and program research examines gaps between the child and adult mental health systems and efforts at collaboration. The knowledge translation mission of the Transitions RTC informs policy, practice, and behavior through its research briefs, reports, and tip sheets. All tip sheets are reviewed and edited by young adults and experts in their field. The Transitions RTC disseminates research at numerous local and national venues. Visit us at social media outlets such as the Transitions RTC website, Voices for Hope, which is a website created and maintained by Young Adult Project Assistance, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and YouTube. The Transitions Research and Training Center is proud of the impact they are having on research while working alongside young adults with serious mental health conditions.
At the UMass Department of Psychiatry's Transitions Research and Training Center,
people are thriving here and doing a lot of amazing work.
A unique collaboration by researchers and staff sets this team apart nationwide. The center's focus is on transition-age youth and young adults with serious mental health conditions. It's one of only 2 research and training centers in the United States with this emphasis, and the only one to focus on education and the launch into adult work life. Dr. Marianne Davis directs this groundbreaking work.
It's unique in that way. I think we're also fairly unique in that we have very active involvement on a daily basis of young people who are living with mental health conditions and helping us design our research, conduct the research, interpret the findings, sharing it with other young adults in a very active way, which is, we assume, much more successful than we old stodgy researchers trying to do so.
One of the young adults assisting the Research and Training Center is Amanda Costa, a student at Worcester State University.
We actually create products where we help other young adults become independent and work towards recovery. If it wasn't for a job where I could give back, I don't think I would be as passionate about my own recovery.
Doctors diagnosed Amanda with bipolar disorder after a severe change in her life.
I was on the dean's list, and then kind of all of a sudden, I started having a lot of trouble sleeping. I was having trouble concentrating. I was going through what I realized later and found out was my first manic episode. I thought my life was forever altered for the negative because it was really scary.
Patient experiences like Amanda's have helped UMass develop appropriate products for transition-age youth.
And I have to say, in all of my years as an academic, I never expected to have young people, just out in the community coming up and telling me they were excited about research that we were doing. It's not generally something that gets folks excited. So it's very rewarding to have that.
The Transitions RTC embraces participatory action research principles, where researchers and young adults with mental health conditions collaborate closely on research, tip sheet creation, and presentations. A young adult-driven research project is underway, looking at the experiences of young adult college students with mental health conditions on campus. A website designed and created by young adult project assistants is called Voices for Hope.
Hi everyone, I'm Tanya.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Jillian, and we're young adult project assistants from the Transitions RTC at UMass Medical School.
And we have some great news about some new updates at the RTC we wanted to share with you guys.
We launched our new and improved Voices for Hope website. We have some brand spanking new resources like
celebrities' mental health conditions page, health and wellness pages, employment, education, and much more.
Our website is made by young adults for young adults with mental health conditions. So please don't forget and check us out at voicesforhope.net. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
The Transitions RTC focuses on young adults with psychiatric disabilities and the challenges they face on their path to satisfying lives as student and worker. Why does this population command the interest of federal research dollars and service innovation? There are many young adults with psychiatric disabilities, both served and not served by the adult disability helping systems. The burden of mental health disability on the functioning of young adults is profound. Dr. Marianne Davis describes this at a recent meeting of the National Institute of Medicine.
Mental health as a health condition disproportionately affects young adults. The health condition for young adults is mental health. We have lots of evidence-based treatments for mental health disorders. We have none in this age group. The World Health Organization conducted a global burden of disease study in 2004, and in 2011, Fiona Gore and colleagues published the findings looking at the burden of illness in youth for them 10 to 24-year-olds. When they looked at young adults, in this particular case 15 to 24-year-olds, they had identified sources of death and disability as the burden of illness. Combined, the mortality and disability is the overall burden. And the point that they made in looking at, I think it was like 153 countries, is that in young adulthood, unlike in mature adulthood, the primary public health burden is disability, not mortality. In high-income countries like the United States, over 80% of the total disease burden is attributable to disability caused by the medical condition. When we look at the major causes of burden due to disability in the United States in 15 to 24-year-olds, between mental health and substance use, these are the disproportionate health issues in terms of causing disability in young adults. The other aspect that is very different is the very changing role of families during this stage of life. Young adults are different from mature adults in the level of involvement of their families. They're also different from younger adolescents. It's a unique stage of life. There's a very delicate dance going on between developing independence, interdependence, self-determination, being related to your family, taking advantage of the resources that they can provide to you, while also trying to find yourself and your own independent means. That also has an impact on care. Psychotherapy in children and adolescents primarily leverages the parents to help make the changes. As soon as you're 18, it's not going to work as well. And yet it's not reasonable to not involve family in helping young people recover from the mental health conditions that they're trying to address. As an example of some of the ways in which the target behaviors that you might want to intervene with differently in young adults, there are a couple studies that have looked at suicide. And they have found that at younger ages, suicide was more associated with impulsive behavior. Impulsive and aggressive behaviors were not associated with suicide in older individuals. And lastly, let me just talk very quickly about the system. We parse our systems by policy and payment structure into child systems and adult systems. Not very many of them really walk across very smoothly. Child mental health, target population definitions, and eligibility criteria are different from adult mental health, public mental health systems. Typically, adult mental health systems criteria are much more narrow. It makes for a young person who's receiving even intensive children's mental health services as a late adolescent, some group of them is not going to get in the door of adult services simply because they've had a birthday. Nothing has changed about their need or their condition, but they no longer qualify. We also have the issue that because we've parsed our systems up, that when you're working with young adults, you can hit absolutely every single one of these arrows. And as somebody who's providing services, that can make for a very fragmented types of services and service coordination, as well as knowing and partnering with other treaters and other systems. And then lastly, we train our professionals to provide either child care or adult care, and we don't have professional training for people who know how to work with young adults. And so it provides another systemic barrier to delivering good mental health care for this population.
The impact of mental illness and its symptoms on the normal task of young adulthood, going to school and working a job, is also real and personal. We see this in the story of Erin Lee, a young adult who struggles to maintain employment and control over her own life while coping with her psychiatric disability.
I was diagnosed with bipolar 1 last fall. I finally decided that I wanted to see a counselor because I was like, okay, this is getting bad. I've almost quit my job a few times impulsively. Maybe I should get help for this. The episodes just kept getting worse until I hit my lowest point. I began to have severe auditory hallucinations. I had racing thoughts, racing speech, and impulsive behavior combined with suicidal thoughts. It got to the point where I'd be at work and it took every ounce of willpower I had not to hurt somebody and not to yell at somebody. And I felt so out of control. I just let it come out on myself. I would get so mad at myself and hate myself for being so angry and frustrated, and I wanted the screaming in my head to stop.
The lives of these young adults is often further compromised by substance abuse, involvement with the law, and histories of trauma. 93% of youth, ages 12 to 21, in mental health inpatient care report exposure to trauma. Similar rates are found among youth in outpatient care. In this music video, Rapper 87 portrays a young life affected by trauma.
Hi, my name is Kirsten, and I need some help with abusive stepfather. I found your number online, so I was gonna call and ask and everything. Just verbally, Alright, gotta go.
Open your eyes, it's alright. I know you're hurting 'cause you've been traumatized. It's alright, I know you're hurting 'cause you've been traumatized.
What is this? What is this? You know exactly what this is. How does this get in my house? I want to hear that from you.
Never had what the rest had. Mama wasn't there for me, just a stepdad. I look forward to school for the free lunch. Back home, I ain't really get to eat much. Say the bills past due, we'll make it. Take it out on me every time that he's frustrated. It's almost like I expect this girl to go to sleep 'cause he can flip any second. Afraid if I help, but I have to. I can't just stand still like a statue. So deep in the hole, I can't climb out. Paranoid, hoping that he won't find out. It's kinda sad, but it's true. I wish I could live like you. At least just a fresh. I can't take it no more. I gotta make something happen.
I know you're hurting 'cause you've been
Our mission concerns young adults with psychiatric disabilities who desire to advance their education and complete schooling along with their peers. But there are many challenges to achieving this dream. Challenges to successful completion of education include an absence of proven service models at home and inadequate supports at school or on campus. The results can sometimes be disastrous.
One recent survey found that 1 in 3 college students experienced a prolonged period of depression, and 1 in 4 reported having suicidal thoughts or feelings.
College is a time of change, and for some students, that change comes with emotional turmoil.
Well, suicide is rare. It's the second leading cause of death for college students.
This is a public health problem. Just like diabetes is a public health problem, just like hypertension is a public health problem.
Our mission coincides with the many students around the country who seek to raise awareness of mental health issues and break the impact of stigma. One such student organization, Active Minds, brings together students with mental health conditions, letting young adults know they are not alone.
Coming to college or university is a huge transition. You're growing up, it's a new environment, you're meeting new people, there's an incredible workload, eating habits change, exercise changes, your whole view on everything changes.
A lot of mental health issues, they don't really become evident until this period when students have to face a certain issue on their own. They have to seek help on their own.
You have to constantly be the best possible version of yourself, and anything less than that is like you're a failure, you're inadequate. At least that's what I was feeling.
You think that any problem that comes your way, you can solve it, and you don't need anyone's help. And sometimes life gives you challenges that you just can't solve by yourself.
Most people that I know on campus struggle with anxiety around their work. They are under a lot of pressure, and that often leads to depression.
I think that we judge people a lot more unfairly if they have a mental health disorder. With mental health disorders, many people are uncertain what causes it. There's plenty of factors that can contribute to a mental health disorder, but because there isn't a single known cause, we tend not to speak about it at all.
Like most people, the young adults we serve desire the opportunity to obtain a satisfying career and become contributing members of society. Yet employment is elusive for many, and large numbers join disability roles, never to come off. Through research, the Transitions RTC innovates and tests new interventions for opening doors to employment. Through knowledge translation, the RTC puts tools in the hands of young adults and their helpers as they navigate the world of work. With effective supports and employment practices, young adults discover the benefits of work and their own ability to function well in a job.
Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Whitney and I'm a project assistant at the Transitions RTC. Being employed is very important to me because it gives me a sense of well-being and knowing that I have a job where I can feel confident in myself and feel freedom, knowing that I can make a difference in the world. It is true that there could be hurdles along the way. Feeling depressed, or maybe you won't feel confident about yourself or the work that you're doing, or maybe others are having their own problems and they don't go as planned. Either way, working has opened my eyes to see that I can always overcome these issues one way or another and feel like I can do anything to make the difference I want to see. As a project assistant at the Transitions RTC, I feel a sense of accomplishment. I feel a sense of well-being knowing that I have a support system and knowing that I can help others in need. I hope many others like me can have the same experience in fulfilling their lives with a meaningful work experience. Thank you.
The work of the Transitions RTC embraces principles of hope, empowerment, and recovery. We support these principles in action by participation in youth councils and related events. Youth Voice is brought to stakeholders of services.
Hi, I'm Amanda, and I'm co-chair of the SYAC, which stands for Statewide Young Adult Council, and we're a council run through the Department of Mental Health. It's all young adult council, it meets the second Tuesday of every month, and we just try to infuse young adult voice into everything that DMH, Department of Mental Health, and every other organization does in the mental health system.
The Transitions RTC also recognizes that the process of empowerment and recovery happens one young adult at a time. In this poem, an intern at the Transitions Research and Training Center describes his own journey of hope.
The Garden of Transitions. Watching the garden grow in the ponds of our reflection marks the very true place of transition. An old wilderness rearing of fine agriculture, a transformation to character, and an opportunity to give back and pass along. The confidence, making a difference in the community, solid effort, and a universal ambition that is shared in the possibilities of what can become our dreams. What a beautiful joy it is to be involved between progress and its successor.
Our message of hope and recovery plays loud and clear in rapper 87's stigma-busting music video, You Are the World. Just remember to keep your head up.
My name's Kirsten, I'm 16, and I'm diagnosed with traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress disorder, and I'm normal.
I appreciate y'all for coming out today, for real, I really do. And if you don't take back anything that I said out of this song, at least remember this, alright? You are the world, world, yeah, you are the world, right? You are the world, boys and all the girls, just know that you are the world, When it's hard, just keep your head up, head up. When it's hard, just keep your head up, head up. When it's hard, just keep your head up, you gotta keep your head up, you gotta keep your head up, hey, let me tell you a story about this girl that I know, She's only 12 years old and she feels like she's about to explode, yeah, she's about to explode. Cause she's a little bit different and never had a real friendship with any other kids that the others be having friends with. So she sits back and witness, yeah, but I told her to keep her head up, even when you're feeling fed up. Because her mama won't listen and her daddy ain't hearing it. She needs a medication but the doctors ain't clearing it. And she's so emotional and don't know what she's supposed to do. Hey, come here and let me hold you, and don't you forget what I told you, baby. You are the world, yeah, you are the world, right? You are the world, boys and all the girls, just know that you are the world. When it's hard, just keep your head up, head up.
My name's Elijah, I'm 18, I'm diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder, and I'm normal.
Hey, let me tell you a story about this boy that I know, A 16-year-old hooper, and literally he's about to blow, yeah, he's about to blow. But he suffers from anxiety, and been told that he's bipolar. But I told him to keep his head up, even though that he feel like his life's over. And he's so confused, and don't know what to do. So I told him he was the future, and can't nobody take it from you. So we overlooked all of the disabilities, and the top was the only thing you could really see. And it don't really matter what they show you, just don't forget that I told you, homie, you are the world, yeah, you are the world, right? You are the world, boys and all the girls, just know that you are the world. When it's hard, just keep your head up, head up. When it's hard, just keep your head up.
My name's Ali, I'm 20, I'm a recovering addict, and I've been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and I'm normal.
Hey, and let me tell you a story about this dude that I know, He goes by the name of your boy 87 and he's about to blow, yeah, he's about to blow. Hey, and I was blessed best with a gift. But I ain't really know how to take it. But I can take a situation, make a track out of it, just for the world to relate with. Yeah, so I try to keep my head up, even when I'm feeling fed up. It's like every good thing comes with a little bad luck, and I feel like I done had enough, cause I done been stressed out. A lot of the people that I used to call friends done got X'd out. But I'ma tell you exactly like they told me, even when you feeling lonely, baby, you are the world. Yeah, you are the world. You are the world. Boys and all the girls, just know that you are the world. When it's hard, just keep your head up, head up. When it's hard, just keep your head up, head up. When it's hard, just keep your head up. You gotta keep your head up, you gotta keep your head up. Yeah, you are the world. Yeah, you are the world. You are the world. Boys and all the girls, just know that you are the world. When it's hard, just keep your head up, head up. When it's hard, just keep your head up, head up. When it's hard, just keep your head up. You gotta keep your head up, you gotta keep your head up. Yeah, you are the world. Yeah, you are the world. You are the world. Boys and all the girls, just know that you are the world. When it's hard, just keep your head up, head up. When it's hard, just keep your head up, head up. When it's hard, just keep your head up. You gotta keep your head up, you gotta keep your head up.